We're going to have Marty Clarke on. Let's hear from the coach. Brought to you by Shamrock Office Solutions, a proud partner of St. Mary's Athletics. Marty, another solid win away from Moraga for your boys, and I'm sure. What stood out to me anyway was the job. I know Dirk Williams was a big part of that, a big focal point of the scouting report coming into this one. He was 1 of 9 from the floor. What was the approach there, and how'd you execute it?
Yeah, obviously him and Coakley, number 3, were the 2 guys who really keyed on. Coakley got away from us a little bit in the second half, but Williams, if he's in the left corner, he's going to be lifting out of there to get a screen and then another handoff to shoot the 3, and we made sure we blew that up every time and got over the top of it, and the big showed well, so he couldn't get any space to get it off. If he took himself down under the hoop, it was going to be a screen and then a dribble handoff. So we had a fair idea of where he scored his points or how he scored his points. He's a good player. I mean, he just didn't get the space to get the clean look tonight, and I thought that was a great job from our guy. And Calvin Hermanson in particular did a really nice job on him.
He's right behind you. I know limiting them on transition was another one. Just 2 fast break points for UAB. You guys got back on defense pretty nicely.
Yeah, it did. Really good job of that. I mean, and it wasn't an easy task. They're an athletic team. They rebound well, and they make a quick outlet, and they've got a good push. So, you can't ever stop teams. You can't take everything away from them. But we did a good job of taking the things away that we wanted. Probably the exception of Coakley in that little stretch where he put some points on the board.
The assistant, I mean, of course you're going to turn the ball over a couple times against this team with their athleticism and length, but 20 assists on 27 field goals. It looked like you really got into what you wanted to do offensively, and you guys were able to execute moving the ball around.
Yeah, and they took us out of some stuff. Well, I shouldn't say take. They took us out of the easier things we get out of our pick and roll. They're physical, they're long, they covered the floor, they covered up the roller. And in the end, we made shots from the 3, and it was probably the difference.
13 3. I mean, I don't want to say it's easy winning games when you hit 13 threes, but that certainly helps. And, boy, Stefan Gonzalez gave you a nice scoring punch off the bench. He has no fear. He takes big shots, and he's not afraid of the moment. No,
he's exactly what a shooter needs to be. I mean, he has great belief in himself. We put him in. They went to zone. We put him in. He broke that open. And for a sophomore, for a guy that's a little undersized for his position, he has a big heart and has a genuine belief, and he just makes shots. It's exactly what we need at that point in the game.
Yeah, every time they made a run, your guys were able to respond. I mean, that's what a veteran group does, really, in a group that's been together for more than a year now.
Yeah, there's no doubt that people understand their roles, and they're playing their roles well. As I said, there's always going to be hitches in the game. I thought we rebounded reasonably well, and we looked after the ball reasonably, not great, but reasonably well. We shot it well, and we got the shots we wanted to get. And Jock had a quiet 20 and 8.
And it wasn't quiet 9 of 11.
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't like he had been, but he still played well. We probably didn't throw him the ball enough. Thinking back on the game, we probably should have gone in there a bit more. But again, efficient. He didn't turn over too many. He had one late turnover. He skipped it out. And to be honest, he probably could look to score some more. I mean, I think he's very unselfish. He fits with the culture of the team, but at times he just needs to be the lion among the lambs, as he would say.
Well, I think you give their guards credit, too. When they had him on a switch, they were really physical with him and did a nice job fronting the post.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, and we should really just whipped it across the top and gone on the other side with him.
Right.
And it's some things we have to work on. We haven't done a lot on teams that switch us yet, but it's something I think we'll see more and more of.
Well, you look ahead to Stanford. Obviously saw the Cardinal last year. They bring a lot of the same guys back.
Yeah.
Real quick, what stands out to you about them, and what's going to be tough about them on their home floor?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. They've got a new coach who actually was the coach of UAB, so it'll be interesting to see the transference of whether what we've done today and in the build-up today will help us in the game against Stanford. But things they've got a really good big. I mean, he's big and he's aggressive and thick and strong.
Talking about Reed Travis.
Yeah, Reed Travis. Yeah, their other big is an athlete, and he's really improved from when we saw him last year. Their point guard, that got hurt last year, is back, Cartwright, and they got some athletes. They're a good basketball club. It's a Pac-12 team. They're going to be good. That's good athletically, obviously very intelligent. People that go to Stanford probably need to be to get there, and they have good basketball now. So really looking forward to it. It should hopefully be a packed house down there. So.
No question about it. It'll be fun. congratulations on this one. I think we got time to enjoy it for a little while.
Okay, thank
All
you very much.
Marty
Right,
Clarke, let's hear from the coach segment. Brought to you by Shamrock Office Solutions, a proud partner of St. Mary's Athletics. We're going to get real quickly to our Crown Plaza player of the game with 12 points for 12 shooting, a pair of assists, a pair of rebounds, and lockdown defense on Dirk Williams. It's Calvin Hermanson. Calvin, talk about your defensive. I know Dirk Williams was a big part of the scout coming into this one. He's a very good shooter, over 46%, I think, from three on the year. You guys held him to 1 of 9. Talk about your defensive approach going into this one against a scorer like that.
Yeah, definitely. Coach came at me and let me know it was a big assignment for us, and I think he's one of their leading scorers and obviously their best shooter. So, you know, I just try and limit the guy's shots, try and limit his touches, and if he gets to shoot one, I'm gonna try and make it a tough one.
No question about it, and that was a big part of this game. Now, obviously, they're a really good team. You know, they're athletic and long. What did they do defensively besides did they do anything special besides just being long and athletic on the defensive end that kind of took you out of some things you might have wanted to do? Other than that, you guys executed pretty well offensively with 20 assists on 27 field goals.
Yeah, no, I think we felt good on offense. I don't think we've played against a team that pressed us the entire game like they did. But all that did, I think, is really take a few seconds off the shot clock for us. We were still able to get down and get great shots, and just proud of our guys to be able to, you know, weather the storm and get great shots no matter what. Yeah,
you said it, weather the storm, man. The resiliency of your team is impressive because they came out with a couple of pretty good counter punches to runs you guys had, and you guys would have the response every single time. What is it about this team that makes that look so easy?
Oh, definitely. I think we're just so deep this year, and even last year we were good, but this year we're really deep. I mean, we saw him throw a big punch coming out at the start of the second half, and we got a big lift from Steph, who came out and just banged a few threes against him, and you know, we just never know who's going to step up, and we have confidence in everybody, like 1 through 15. Everyone's great, and we showed it tonight, I think.
If you could put this one into perspective, obviously the Dayton win was huge. This one on a neutral floor. That's a team that should contend for a league championship and a spot in the NCAA tournament. Put this one into perspective, big picture.
Yeah, definitely one of our bigger preseason non-conference games for sure. So this will be a big win for us, up there with Dayton. Yeah, Dayton was a huge win, and this should be right underneath it.
We're running out of time on Movember. Are you guys going to get that going anytime soon? Or you got? I mean, you kind of always have it going a little bit, but
yeah. I decided I'd try and grow it out with the beard this year, so it's still I still got it, and you know, I didn't want to make Dane or Emmett feel bad because you know they can barely grow facial hair, so I thought I wouldn't go just mustache. I'd just kind of do the normal beard and you know have the mustache there, but you know, I don't want to embarrass Dane or Em.
Well, looks good, man. And you also, I mean, Emmett called it performance enhancers, the Just for Men, which he didn't want to comment on using it.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
You know, I'm not going to say he uses it a lot, but I'm not going to say he hasn't used it. He's got the little blonde hair, so he might use it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Well, one thing's for sure. On the videos they showed it, the opening tip by our guy Brian Navarro right here. Even with the Just for Men, those were looking solid. Those were looking pretty good.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, not a problem.
Yeah.
Calvin Hermanson, thanks a lot, man. Congratulations on the win, and let's head back to the Bay Area.
Yep. Thanks a lot, Alex.
Calvin Hermanson, our Crown Plaza player of the game, Crown Plaza Hotel, the hotel choice for St. Mary's Athletics. Back on the W.TV and Campus Insiders of the St. Mary's IMG Sports Network. Alex Jensen from the Orleans Arena. It's halftime. It's a 43-27 St. Mary's lead. The Gales, let's see, 56% from the floor and over 50% from outside the arc. They lead UAB 43-27. We're joined by West Coast Conference Associate Commissioner, a regular guest on this program. It's Jeff Tourial, who's you've been in Vegas now since Tuesday. There's been a lot of West Coast Conference action here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, it's been a fun, busy week, Alex, with BYU participating in an event at MGM Grand Garden Arena earlier this week, and then Santa Clara taking part in the Las Vegas Invitational here at Orleans Arena, and now, of course, this game today. So being able to see three of our teams in one location is efficient.
I would say that. Unfortunately for you, it keeps the miles down, and you know, you can't earn those bonus points. But you racked plenty of those up, I know, especially going from San Francisco to L.A. During the season, because there's I mean, with the amount of teams in Northern California and the amount of teams in Southern California, you're all over the place.
Yeah, it's a lot of travel. It's a lot of fun. And this season in particular is exciting because there's so many talented teams on the hardwood and a lot of excitement with with programs that haven't had success in recent years, as you know, with 4 new head coaches on the men's side. So that's really exciting. And to see, for example, the start that San Francisco's gotten off to. They got a tough one tonight up at Eastern Washington, but the Dons are off to a 4-0 start. That's pretty exciting to see. Portland won their first 3 before running into a buzzsaw in UCLA, a top 20 team down in Anaheim earlier this week. But Terry Porter's got some excitement in Portland. And then, of course, Herb Sendek at Santa Clara with one of the best players in the conference, as you well know, in Jared Brownridge. And then Damon Stoudemire.
Do we ever know?
Yes. And the excitement that Damon Stoudemire has brought to Stockton and the University of the Pacific with the start they've had. So certainly a lot of excitement there. And then obviously what St. Mary's has been able to do, and the expectations for this team, no question, are high heading into the season. And we know what Gonzaga is, and BYU, we think, is gonna be strong as well. So it's an exciting time.
Well, let's talk about that excitement kind of generated first by the 4 new head coaches in this league. 'Cause you've got some big names there. You've got Terry Porter, who was an all-star with the Blazers. You've got Damon Stoudemire, former Rookie of the Year. Herb Sendek's done a tremendous job at NC State and Arizona State, and then also with Kyle Smith, who was under Randy Bennett. He did an unbelievable job at Columbia. You bring those 4 new head coaches in, and like you said, seeing that there's some substance behind kind of the glitz and glamour of some of these names that were brought in, that's got to be refreshing to see. The bottom of or the middle of the bottom of the conference maybe making a play upward.
Yeah, exactly right. And it's the excitement that it brings in that it shows that schools are making a genuine commitment to men's basketball success. And make no mistake, it's not going to be easy with the likes of what Gonzaga has built, what St. Mary's has built, what BYU had already built and has brought into the conference when they joined back in 2011. It's a tough road for everybody else, for the other 7, to build and then sustain that success. But the excitement that those 4 programs now have with a fresh start, it's exciting to see, and we'll see how it plays out over the long term. I think it's easy for those of us on the outside to look and see a name or see a big early win and say, there they go, they got it. But it's a long process. It takes time, and easier said than done, certainly for fans of those programs, but patience, of course, will be important.
LMU is also kind of in the middle of that they've made some progress there under Mike Dunlap, and of course Pepperdine. We've seen what they've been able. They haven't quite taken that next step yet, but they've taken that intermediate step ever since Marty Wilson's got the job down there. So they're another program that's kind of making that leap up.
Yeah, I think Pepperdine has done it right in that it's taken some time, and they're not there yet, clearly, but they're now into that consistently in the upper middle of the pack, and they just need that breakthrough. And whether they get it or not, who knows? But there's definitely an enthusiasm around that program that did not exist previously, so that's exciting.
And I think will be fun for fans of the West Coast Conference to watch, as we've seen different teams kind of hold that mantle. We saw USF a few years ago knock off some of the top teams. Santa Clara's been there before, but no one's really been able to sustain it there. Pepperdine has a chance to do that now. They've been kind of pests now for the top 3 for a couple years. We'll see if they can stay. It'll be fun to watch. Let's talk about the top 3 now with BYU, Gonzaga, and St. Mary's. I think a lot of people looking around in the first couple weeks would say this is the most talented that the top 3 in the West Coast Conference have ever been, and maybe a legitimate chance for a 3-bid league this year, assuming the dominoes fall the right way.
That's right, and as you well know, we are still in November, so a long
way to go. But it's fun to talk about.
It's very fun to talk about, and you see the pundits nationally giving the West Coast Conference respect, frankly, that it's earned in the sense that these 3 teams have been successful, and we know that the talent is there for these 3 teams that if they perform well to make a run at the NCAA tournament coming up in March. So we'll see, but certainly St. Mary's has been nothing short of impressive. Gonzaga, they just went down to Orlando and won the Advocare Invitational against some tough competition down there. Gonzaga is what it is, and BYU has a lot of parts, and it'll be interesting to see how it does or doesn't come together over the next several months.
Well, yeah, you mentioned it's a young team over there at BYU, and they're still kind of learning. It's amazing that they lose a guy like Kyle Collinsworth and Chase Fisher, and you're still able to put a product that is that type of level on the floor. Dave Rose done an incredible. Now they had a setback the other night, of course, which they'll learn from, but he's done an incredible job over there.
Yeah, I think the hope for BYU coming into the season, because there's no question there's a lot of talent there, was to kind of take the first month or two, figure it out, try to get some good wins, obviously, to build the resume, and then be ready to go come West Coast Conference play. But then they ran out of the gates and got out 4-0. And I was at their first game against Princeton, and holy cow, Eric Mika, you remember him from a few years ago.
Forgot how good he was.
Exactly right, and you know very well. You have a post presence in this conference that will do you very well. And Eric Mika looks a lot more like a fierce post presence than he did a few years ago as a freshman when he was very good. So I think BYU's got the pieces, but they can clearly be inconsistent. Yesterday, a very tough home loss to Utah Valley. I don't think allowing 114 points at home is something that they can continue to do regularly. I think they'd be very well readily admit that. But again, a long way to go, and they've still got some opportunities here in the non-conference to pick up a couple good wins before they head into WCC play at the end of December.
And it's interesting that when you put them up there with St. Mary's and Gonzaga, who have Gonzaga's got some transfers, but for the most part known commodities. St. Mary's especially, you add in a couple new faces, but it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. There is some exciting news kind of on the media side here in the West Coast Conference, where we've got a number of schools signing on with partners. St. Mary's, of course, IMG, as everyone listening to this program well knows. But there's some other exciting news with some other programs. We talked about those 4 new head coaches, and some of those programs have some exciting news as well on the media side.
Well, exactly right. And working with those multimedia rights holders, as you now know with St. Mary's and IMG, it adds that level of pizzazz, but also that level of credibility when you go into the marketplace and you try and establish those corporate relationships and also build on exciting promotional opportunities that maybe institutions of our size couldn't necessarily do on their own. You add in these partnerships, and now you've got that kind of force and that ability to work together as a bigger entity. And it is pretty cool to see. We'll see how it plays out. Again, patience, as you know, it takes time. Yeah. It's a long-term investment on the part of IMG and then Van Wagner Sports and Entertainment, who signed some schools. But it's also pretty exciting news.
And really establishing a brand for all those schools. And that's where I think nationally it's exciting for West Coast Conference fans that maybe some of these schools, lesser-known schools, to the rest of the country in the West Coast Conference will start to become some household names.
That's right. And I think going back to where we started the interview, talking about those new coaches, you bring that instant pop and that, stand up and take notice. And now if they can build some wins, you earn that credibility and you can sustain it. And I think these partnership programs really kind of do the same thing off the court, where you get that pop, and now if you can build on it and have some successes, it's sustainable. And you're right, and that's how over a long period of time, of course, you can build a national brand.
And of course, it's just a few months, so we'll be back in this building. Time for West Coast Conference tournament basketball again, your busiest time of the year, which is always exciting. But you got anything else?
Yeah, it is, and I think fans who've been to this event before, this will be the 9th year that we're here. Hard to believe for the tournament.
Yeah, no kidding.
But I think fans will notice some things that if they're watching at home today on the stream you wouldn't see, but we'll have a center-hung high-definition scoreboard here. We'll enhance our production facilities. There's new lighting here in the building as well, and some other fan amenities that will really enhance the experience and kind of freshen things up a little bit. And we look forward to adding more over the next couple of years because we're here now 3 more seasons.
Now, for those who haven't been to the West Coast Conference tournament before, A, how can they get their tickets? And B, what kind of things will they be able to enjoy? You know, I always enjoy it because I like everybody kind of under one roof, and it's just a fun time. But what kind of things can they enjoy besides Las Vegas, just in the, the high level of basketball?
Yeah, I think for the first part, the tickets, that's clearly a tough part. We've sold out every year that we've been here. It's about an 8,000-seat building the way we configure it. Your best bet is to talk to your institution and go through your school's ticket office. We at the conference will have, if any, maybe 200 or 300 tickets to sell at the end of the day because the schools have the first opportunity to purchase them. So that's your best bet for tickets. But the event itself really is a lot of fun. Each school inducts someone into the West Coast Conference Hall of Honor, so we have a big celebration of that. I mean, there's some legendary names, as you know, that get inducted into that each year. There's also, we work with Special Olympics. We work with local youth and try and enhance the crowds, especially in the early rounds. As you know, the building and any tournament can be a little cavernous when it's not full. And I think we work to try to make that experience a lot of fun. But by the time we get to Saturday night and then the semifinals Monday and the championships on Tuesday, I mean, the fans do all the work. The atmosphere, as you well know, is electric in here. It's a lot of fun.
No doubt about it. Jeff, thanks so much. I'm sure we'll run into you again down the road at some point. We've done this a number of times. I'm sure we'll be able to do it again. Thanks again for joining us.
I'm penciling in December 29th at LMU. I'll see you there.
Just keep your eraser handy. I'm just kidding.
You bet. Good to see you, Alex.
Jeff Tourial, Associate Commissioner of the West Coast Conference, joining us.